One of the things that was announced yesterday, right after we heard of the bomb blast, was this shutting down of the mobile phone networks in downtown Boston in order to prevent additional blasts. What can you tell us about the ability of law enforcement officials to really monitor the traffic and the cell phone communications that might take place between those that plant these kinds of devices?
Well, law enforcement has authorities that allow them during national security events to actually coordinate with the internet service providers and telecommunications carriers to identify a threat and to reach into those devices. But what's troubling to me is that the U.S. government doesn't have a monopoly on that sort of big brother-ish capability. Many hackers can actually emulate the same level of visibility into mobile devices by merely hacking mobile platforms in today's environment.
All right, so you use the word emulate, and I want to come to you, Douglas Diaga. This idea that not everybody who should have the tools has the tools to do whatever it is on the internet. Explain what Spider.io is and how you've been finding out that you can actually rent a crook to do nefarious things on the internet.
That's right. So I'll give you a bit of broad context, and then I'll tell you where we fit in. And brace yourself, because it is troubling. It's now become clear that you can rent enterprise-grade botnets in the same way that you'd rent cloud computing resources from Amazon Web Services or Google Compute Engine or Microsoft Azure.
All right, but what's a botnet? Because many people may not even know what a botnet is. You can rent people that do bad things online.
So a botnet is simply a collection of hijacked PCs. So what typically happens, typical attack vector will be a porn site. So in the same way that mainstream web advertisers buy ad space on mainstream websites, the porn site sells space to botnet owners. The owners then embed injection kits into the website, and when a user comes along and clicks anywhere on that particular page, then they download this particular package and the PC gets infected.
So you can have a hijacked series of PCs.
That's right.
Tom Kellerman, how much of a threat is this to the way that our networks currently work? Because many things are online, whether it's tracking your mobile phone usage or just sending text messages or indeed even email.
Well, let's be clear, as much as yesterday was very much a tragedy, you're 1,000% more likely to suffer a cyber attack as an individual or a corporation in today's environment. All major organized criminal syndicates and all terrorist groups in the world have embraced cyber capabilities and are utilizing this arms bazaar of weaponry that exists out there to functionally hunt and target Americans and American corporations in cyberspace. This isn't just about denial of service or knocking things down. It's their intent to maintain omniscience and to telepathically change the information we get. The most troubling trend that I see is that at Trend Micro we've noticed that many more destructive payloads, destructive attacks are being leveraged, where they don't just attack these systems, they actually destroy the data on the other side.
Destroying the data on the other side. I'm even just trying to understand this, Douglas, because the data is so crucial not only to the information that we transmit, but so many companies rely on advertising on the internet in order to fund their business models.
That's right. So what we're finding with these enterprise-grade botnets is not just is there an enterprise-grade botnet, you actually have marketplaces for apps. So cyber criminals can buy apps for denial of service attacks, they can buy apps for credit card fraud, for fake profile generation across social networks, for click fraud, and for display advertising fraud. So all of these things ultimately are now more accessible to a cyber criminal straight from the off. And
how expensive is this? I mean, do you have to be a millionaire in order to have access to this kind of criminal activity?
And it's all we're investigating at the moment. There was a security researcher from Trend Micro, in fact, Max Goncharov, who put out a paper at the end of last year which details in uncanny and unnerving detail how expensive and how easy it is to run one of these botnets.
It's approximately $600 to be fully capable in the environment. As a novice, you can spend $600 to fully be capable of hacking governments, corporations, or individuals, and having telepathic capabilities into their mobile devices, their PCs, and their back-end infrastructures.
Tom Kellerman, would you put any of your most essential information online or transmit it to anyone online?
I mean, the horse has left the barn. You're kind of stuck in that situation because corporate America and the government has moved most of your personal information online. I would say, though, that I only do business with corporations who take this risk management problem seriously. This is about sustainability. This should never be seen as an expense now, cybersecurity. It's a functionality of doing business in today's world. It's a brave new world.